This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Bill Herrin.
And I'm Dean Johnson, and we're here today with Ms. Lisa Toms. She's a full-time professor in the marketing department here at Southern Arkansas University, and we're going to talk to her about the different angles in which she has covered while being a student, part of the faculty, and an employee here. Welcome, Ms. Toms. First, I guess we'll start out by asking you, how did you become interested in teaching marketing, and where did it all begin?
I guess I've always been interested in teaching. Back in 1992, Dr. Rankin, the dean here at the School of Business, was not dean then, he was just a professor, and he is the advisor for the students in Free Enterprise Group. And he left and took a leave of absence to go and work at another school for 1 year. And while he was gone, because I had been a member of Students in Free Enterprise, he asked me to take over as their advisor for a year. So I had a whole 2 semesters to work with a group of 5 students. I took them on trips, we did projects together, and I enjoyed that interaction so much that I really thought teaching's for me. Being with the students, having relationships with them was really what I wanted to do.
You are doing a lot of work for the statistics department around here.
Yes, I
Awesome.
came here to SAU as an employee for the first time in 1991, in July of 1991, when I came as internal auditor. And I had that position for about 18 months, 2 years, kind of part-time back and forth. And then I took over as Director of Institutional Research, and that is a position where you take care of the reporting of all the data and the statistics about the university to the State Department of Education, Department of Higher Education, and then also to the Federal Department of Education, the student that make up the demographics of the student body and their successes.
What did you do before you became a teacher?
Prior to working here at the university, right after my graduation from the university here at SAU, I went to work for First National Bank in El Dorado as a marketing officer, and I worked there for about 13 months in that bank, and I really enjoyed that, and just upon leaving that job, came to SAU as internal auditor.
What classes are you teaching this semester?
I'm teaching a couple of sections of Principles of Marketing, which is a class that all business majors have to take, and I know a lot of broadcasting and journalism majors also have to take that class. I'm also teaching marketing management, which is a senior level marketing class, which is considered the capstone class for marketing majors. And I'm teaching a selling and sales management class, which is a junior level marketing class.
Were you inspired to teach marketing, or was it something that you were just interested in?
Well, honestly, I've always been interested in it, but it was kind of a mixture of inspiration and the right luck came along at the time. When I was working here at the university, I worked on my Master's of Business Administration, my MBA, while I was working over in administration. I went at night traveling back and forth to Ruston, to Louisiana Tech for 3 years working on my Master's. I graduated from there in 1995, August, and I had just a general business degree. I had a marketing minor here at SAU as an undergraduate. And so I was just working along one day and my phone rang, and it was the Associate Dean for Graduate Studies at Louisiana Tech, asked me if I was interested in working on my doctorate, and I said, no, yes. And he said, we have a fellowship, what would you like to major in? And I said, well, I guess management. He said, no, you really mean marketing, don't you? Because that's what the fellowship was. And I said, oh yes, I meant marketing. And I really did. I had told them at one point I was interested in marketing, and they said I couldn't. They didn't have enough faculty at that point, but now they currently do. And that's really, I love marketing, and that was my first love. But I guess I shouldn't say that. Dr. Rankin may be upset. Finance was my first love. Marketing was my second love. But I think it is, it's a subject that all of us can identify with. From every walk of life, we currently participate in marketing all the time, and it was something that inspired me. But as I said, that financial side came into it too when they offered me a fellowship to go to school in that subject.
What is attracting students to getting a marketing major? Is it limited after you graduate with a degree?
No,
or?
I think that's what does attract students. There are so many things you can go into. Just from the name of our subjects in the marketing department, you can tell we have selling and sales management, we have retailing, we have a marketing management, we have marketing research, we have advertising, not counting the subjects that you guys have. over, in journalism and also in the art department. So there's so many different angles that they can go into. If you understand the process of marketing, you understand business, and you understand, and that's a good background for anybody that wants to go out and get a job.
Earlier you mentioned the Students in Free Enterprise. What type of organization is that, and what's their function?
Students in Free Enterprise was started about, I believe, 20 years ago as a method of allowing college students, number one, to learn about the American free enterprise system, and also to educate other people in their communities and their colleges about the American enterprise system. At SAU, it is an honors course. It is a course that students take. They're invited, or they volunteer to be on this team, and it is a team, and they're selected based upon their grade point average and their general abilities and their participation in other things. And they work all year long on projects that educate people on the free enterprise system from every aspect. They've done projects like, I remember when I was a student in free enterprise, we rented a chicken costume. And we had the little red, remember the story of the little red hen? Where, she baked all her bread and she kept asking people to help her, and no, they didn't want to help her. Well, we did that story, and we actually illustrated it in a flip chart, and then we went out, and one of the banks gave us the money to rent a chicken costume, and we dressed it up as the little red hen. Well, it was the little yellow hen because it was the San Diego chicken. And so we had the little red hen's cousin. So they do projects like that, and at the end of the year in April, they will go to a competition where they have put together an audiovisual presentation and judged by a panel of judges of corporate executives on the quality of their presentation as well as the quality of their projects, and they compete against other universities' teams, Students in Free Enterprise teams, and just to see how they've done. And it's a very good opportunity for students to learn not only about the American Enterprise Project, to learn to work as a team, and also to learn how to do an audiovisual presentation and to stand up in front of corporate executives with polish, because it's a very polished presentation. They work on it and practice it for a long time. So it's a good organization.
Sounds interesting.
What kind of awards are available for outstanding students in marketing, and do you feel it motivates them to do better?
There aren't a lot of particular awards. We have implemented something this semester that I'm very excited about in marketing. We are in the marketing management class. We are giving students opportunities to form teams and to work together on a project in direct marketing, in which they will take a case that's been given to them by the Direct Marketing Association of America. They will read it, and they will put together a marketing plan, an advertising plan, a media plan, all of that, and they will put it into a audiovisual presentation as well as a written report, and that we will send those from SAU to the Direct Marketing Association, and it will be in competition with those types of reports from all over the United States. Now, this is our first year, and I don't expect us to walk away winning first, but our goal is to build the marketing program here at SAU. It's been a strong program, but it has not been the strongest program in the state. And so our goal is to make it the strongest program in the state. Another thing I would like to do is to build relationships with people in industry so that when our graduates graduate, we'll have a good opportunity to get them jobs. Not to get jobs for them, but to have places where we can say, if someone calls us and says, hey, I need a good marketing major, we'll have one available to them. Right. Other than that, the other awards that are available in the School of Business overall are the Wall Street Journal Award, which is for the student that has the highest grade point average the year that they graduate, and then also the Outstanding Student in the School of Business Award.
Weren't you awarded an award during your time as a student here?
Well, I actually won both of those awards.
Both
the year I graduated in 1990 was the Wall Street Journal Award. I got a 3.99 grade point average, and then I was the Outstanding Student in School of Business, 1990.
That was good.
Well, now, I know you graduated from Bodcaw.
Yes, Bodcaw High School, yeah.
Right. It's a very small school. What kind of effect do you feel smaller universities have on its students?
Small universities or small schools? Or
both.
Okay. Having graduated from a small school, I really came into the university. Of course, I came 7 years after I graduated. I came in as a non-traditional student with a family. But I came in very afraid that my level of education was going to be below those of my peers. In my first Comp 1 class at 8 o'clock on that first Wednesday morning, I was scared to death. But it did not take me long to realize that that smaller school had actually given me a chance to learn more one-on-one, and I learned more depth. Maybe not as much breadth. I didn't have chemistry, I didn't have physics, I didn't have some of those classes. But what I did learn, I learned very well. And so I came into SAU, of course, after being at BODCA and graduating with 13 students in my graduating high school class, SAU seemed huge. But what I like about SAU, after having been to other universities and having seen other universities, is that each student at SAU is an individual. They're not a number. They are not their student ID. They're an individual that their instructors and their fellow students can take time to get to know. We have time to get to know our students. We have small class sizes. I don't know how it could be any more positive. I have taught at a larger university, and I have to tell you, I had 60 students in one class. I barely could remember their names by the end of the quarter, much less have time to get to know them as individuals. And that's one thing that SAU does allow us to do, is we have time to get to know our students.
I have a marketing minor, and when I tell different people that I have a marketing minor, they look at me as if I'm crazy, because our business department really has a name that speaks for itself. And I was wondering, do you know how that came about?
Why the School of Business?
Why the School of Business?
From what I understand, just some history. We had this was before the college was a university. It was back when we were Southern State College. There was a division chair or something, that's what they called them instead of deans back then, who was very adamant about hiring some excellent faculty. And it's like they all came in within 2 years of each other. And a lot of them are still here. One was Dr. Scott Boaz, who's now retired, Dr. Leland Calloway, Dr. Ann Trexler, Dr. Gail White, Dr. David Rankin. They all came in right there together. Mr. Blanchard, Lewis Blanchard. And he really looked for the best faculty that he could find. Now, those people have been here a few years, and it worked. I mean, it obviously worked. Not only that, but we've had the support of the administration. We have this beautiful new building. We have state-of-the-art facilities here at SAU. And I think also Phi Beta Lambda, which is the collegiate division of FBLA, has won numerous. We've won over 500 state awards, and we've won over 180 national awards just from this tiny little SAU School of Business. And we've put forth I think there's 5 national officers, a national president came out of SAU. So we've earned the reputation, but it does go back to the history. And then the people have followed through. You know, those who were hired at that time, they're now our leaders, and they still look for quality. They look for quality faculty and quality students.
That's quite impressive, and that's something that you can feel good about, being that you came from this department.
Yes, yeah, I do. I'm never ashamed to say I graduated from Southern Arkansas University.
That's good.
Doing your undergraduate work here, a lot of your professors, they're now your colleagues.
Yes.
Did that make it easier coming in, starting a new job, or?
It did, to a certain degree. Definitely, they're some of the finest people I've ever met, and I don't just say that lightly. I mean, I truly believe that. Not only do they care about their students, they care about their colleagues. They bring you in, they try to make you feel like you're a part of a family, which is what the business faculty really are. We're a family. They invite you to go to lunch with them, to coffee with them. They really bring you in and make you feel like a part of it. I guess the funniest thing was that I had years of saying Dr. White and Dr. Rankin and Dr. Trexler. And even as a staff person here, which I was for 5 years, I still continued to call them out of respect, Dr. Rankin, Dr. White. And of course, one of the first things they said when I came on as faculty was, "Oh, call me Gail, call me Ann, Dr. Trexler." And I was like, I just don't know if I can do that. It's almost like calling your mom. I would never say they were my mother, but calling your mom by your first name, because you do have so much respect. And you guys know you have so much respect for your instructors that it's really hard then to make yourself realize they're not your instructor anymore, they're your colleague. So that was really my only problem that I had coming in.
We're aware that the business department take trips, and do you know if any trips are being planned for this year? And
well, now the finance and economics, actually the students in free enterprise are sponsoring a field trip for the finance and economics students. Anyone who wants to go basically is eligible to go. They're going to Chicago. October 15th through 17th, they're going to go to the Chicago Board of Trade, to whatever finance people do in Chicago. They're going as a field trip. We're trying to put together a marketing field trip in the spring also to Chicago, because I have some marketing contacts there. If we don't make that one, last spring we took a group of about 25 students with some art students also to Dallas, and we visited the World Trade Center there, the Apparel Mart. We went to an advertising agency called the Richards Group, which does some of the ad campaigns like the Nokia phones, the Drew Carey ad during the Super Bowl. They do the Chick-fil-A, eat more chicken with the cows, you know. They do Motel 6, we leave the light on for you. We were able to meet those people. Our students were able to question them and network with them, and then we were able to do some other things that were really good hands-on experience for marketing students. We would like to expand that and do that maybe once a year or once every 3 years. We're really trying in the School of Business to get a field trip for every discipline, so that marketing has a field trip, finance has a field trip, accounting has a field trip each year. And the students, it's not the same one each year, but we rotate them between maybe 2 or 3 cities.
We know that FBLA, which you mentioned earlier, is a part of one of the business organizations. What are the qualifications that you have to have in order to join?
Okay, FBLA is the high school division. Phi Beta
Beta
Lambda,
Lambda.
PBL we call it, is the collegiate division. And honestly, you just be a college student is your qualifications to be a member. And it is probably one of the most if you'll get in and get involved, which I guess is the key to any organization. It is one of the most successful organizations. It will change your life in that it will give you opportunities to develop your leadership abilities, learn to work as a team with each other, gives you opportunities to compete with other people in your area from all over the United States. It just provides a lot of growth opportunities for college students.
What kind of businesses around here do you have connections with to place graduates?
I don't have many right now. I do have some connections, of course, with banking because I was in banking, but they don't hire a lot of marketing people in banking. They do have marketing officers. We are trying to make connections with some advertising agencies, of course, the Richards Group, which I mentioned in Dallas. We're trying to place some interns, and that's usually the first step in learning to place graduates is let's get some interns placed. And Dr. White manages that internship program for us here at the School of Business, and she has placed quite a few people, even through the internship program, would then develop into a full-time job upon graduation.
Do y'all encourage the internship, or is this just up to the individual?
And we definitely encourage it, but again, this is a selective opportunity. The student has to have a certain grade point average, and they have to have recommendations from 3 faculty members that they would be a good intern, because we don't want to send a student out and the student to not do a good job and to not be a positive experience for an SAU person out there with a business.
I'm sure that would be.
We've not had very many negative experiences. If we've had any, we've had good relationships built through that internship program.
Excellent, excellent.
We know that you're studying for your doctorate degree, and how is that, and what do you plan to do after you receive it?
Doctorate degrees are very in-depth, I have found. You take, depending on where you go, how long the programs are. I have recently completed, in May, I completed my coursework, which means I've taken all the classes that I have to take. And at Louisiana Tech, where I'm a student, you have to take a major comprehensive exam and a minor comprehensive exam. Upon passing both of those, you take an oral comprehensive exam, and then after that, you do what's called a dissertation, which is a large research project, original research that no one has ever done before. At the stage I'm at, I have finished my major comprehensive exam. I passed that in June, and 13 days from today, the day we're filming this, I'll be taking my minor comprehensive exam. And so if I were to pass that, God willing, I will be taking my oral comprehensive exam later in the semester, I hope. And then the dissertations typically take 1 year to 2 years to finish. It's a large project.
Sounds like a lot of work.
About your family in Taylor?
Yes, we live in Taylor. My husband is from Taylor originally. He grew up there, and we moved there after coming back from El Dorado. We lived there, of course, while I was in school here. And I have 2 children, 2 boys. The rest is 14, will be 14 October 2nd tomorrow. And Grant will be 12 in December. And they've been in school with me all their lives, basically. They were 3 and 1 when I started to school out here at SAU. So I think they feel like they've earned the degrees along with me. But I hope maybe they've learned the value of education through watching what I've done. Maybe they've learned not to wait too late in life.
Do you want them to go into marketing?
I want them to go into what will make them happy. I want them to be where they'll fulfill. I honestly believe that my younger son, Grant, will probably be something to do with animals, veterinarian or some kind of animal care. And the older one, I don't know, he says computers at this point. You know how that goes. When you're 12 and 14, you really don't know. And sometimes you don't know when you're 21 or 25, but.
Kind of hits close to home for some of us.
Well, it's good that they've been with you while you're pursuing your degrees, because I have a son, and we go through this same thing. You know, Mama, do you have homework? Yes, I have homework. I do too. So, you know, it kind of let them know that if you don't do it right when you get out of school, that, you know, there is time.
Right.
Education is always there, so you
That's
will
right.
have time to go.
And I've often said to them, if you don't like, you know, what we're having to do now, then don't do what I did. Go right out of high school and
Right.
finish your education before you start your family. But whatever, get your education.
Get your education.
Well, what kind of advice would you give our struggling marketing majors?
I guess the one that I've told them most recently, and probably I've learned throughout my life, is follow your instincts. Learn to listen to your own instincts, not necessarily listen to the voices of those around you, because sometimes they'll lead you astray. And a lot of times I think, not even marketing majors, but everybody, we tend to listen more to the opinions of others than what we know ourselves is correct or right. And I think through their education and through their learning, not just through higher education, but through their learning experiences, you develop an instinct about people and about situations. And follow your instincts. Follow that gut feeling, because it very seldom leads you astray. Very seldom. And be confident. Be confident in yourself. Look what you've done. You know, compared to a lot of other people, you've already accomplished a lot in your lifetime. So be confident.
Do you have a philosophy that you like to tell students?
Yes, I do. You've probably heard it in one of my classes. I believe in building relationships, and I believe marketing is all about building relationships. Life is about building relationships, and we don't have anything if we don't have relationships, and that's especially true in marketing in this day and age, but in everything. If you can build a relationship with a person, with a company, with the world, then you're in good shape and you're ready to go in life, because you've got all those relationships to fall back on.
Good advice.
Yes, it is something we all can follow.
Most definitely. You worked on your master's at Louisiana Tech. How is that school different from this one?
Oh, well, you have to understand, first of all, I went on working on my master's in the evening. Okay, and I wouldn't want any of my instructors, since I'm still working on my doctorate there, to see this. But no, honestly, I worked there. No one wants to teach a night class. Nobody wants to be in a night class. But they were kind enough, they were open enough to offer an MBA program all at night. So that's not a positive experience to drive. For me, it was an hour and a half to 2 hours down there. They're on the quarter system, so you sit for 4 hours in a classroom, you get back in your vehicle, and you drive an hour and a half to 2 hours back, and you get home at midnight, and you get in the bed, and you get back up, and you're back at work at 8 o'clock the next morning. That was probably not my most positive educational experience. I did that for 3 years until Dr. Gamble and Dr. Ball, who was my boss, were kind enough to allow me a leave of absence, because I was about ready to quit, honestly. I had been doing that for a long time and thought, I can't stop this, I'm just going to quit. So they allowed me a leave of absence, and I finished up in a couple of quarters. It took me 3 years to get a 39-hour degree. It took me 3 years at SAU to get a 124-hour degree. So you can see it was a lot of work and a lot of driving. I guess the difference between Louisiana Tech and here is obviously the size. The classes are much larger. The classrooms of students are anywhere from 60 to 120 students. The instructors there, and while we concentrate on research at SAU, their primary concentration at a large school like that for the instructors is research. And so they're concerned with their projects, their publications, more than they are with the students. And I'm not saying they don't care about their students, they do, but here at SAU, I like to think that we love our students. And I can't say that about Tech. They like us there, but I don't think they love us. So that was the main difference, is definitely the way the student-faculty interaction was.
Don't you feel that the smaller numbers in the classroom allow the students to learn more people skills also, which is something that's very valuable
you can do more.
in
You can do
business?
more presentations, and you can do more team activities, and that definitely, you have to learn people skills to do those.
All right.
Well, we're sure glad that you stopped by this afternoon to do the program with us. And I'm Dean Johnson.
And I'm Bill Herrin.
Thank you very much.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.